we'll get a Twitch poll up maybe after game 1. We'll see after game 1 if he's beating me out there. But already great start here. So, Busio, I'm going to ask you some questions to kick things off here because typically for the first couple of bans, I like to talk about what the next priority picks are. What do you think? Get predictive. Team Liquid. What do they lock in here?
Get predictive? I mean, yeah, Varus is one of the highest priority ADs, and he's open. No ADC
Varus
bans.
versus Ezreal.
No way.
That is likely. But there's other ADCs also up, you know?
Oh, there are?
Zeri from Hena, wow.
So what do you think about that one? Because I haven't seen a lot of Zeri, Busio. Now, this is a kind of like more team fight, scaling AD carry from my understanding.
Yeah, I mean, Hena played Zeri in my solo queue the other day, and he was low-key owning, so I think it's a pretty good pick here.
Okay.
I saw you play a Wits End Bard game where you were popping off.
Oh, I mean, that's just meta. That's not my creation.
No,
really?
Yeah, people go Deadman's Wits End all the time.
Okay, I gotta check
You're OP.
that. I'm behind on the meta. I'm still going rapid fire. All right, so we got a couple other rapid fire picks locked in now. Skarner and Azir for Team Liquid. So setting up that range with their engage, and then it's the Rakan for Lyonz. We talk about the support on the Team Lion. Likes to be that playmaker, find the engages for the team.
So what supports would you be thinking about, playing for either side here? Obviously, we have a Rakan locked in on this side. For core, what do you think he's looking at?
I mean, Varus is like the strongest front-to-back ADC in lane, so you want some lockdown to make sure the Rakan and Zeri can't be slippery and get away. But at the same time, you have a tank jungler, so that lets you play a more scaling range champ if you want. So honestly, core can play anything here. I'm curious to see what it is.
Do you think it becomes pretty conditional based on top lane pick then? Like if he was going to play a range support, do you think Impact needs to be that primary engage? Or how are you thinking about it like holistically as a draft?
I wouldn't say so because you already have the tank jungler and you have the Azir and Varus, and they're very strong front to back, so the enemies probably need to dive on you. And as we see, they have a dive comp with Nocturne and Rakan. So that's also why LYON is banning out peeling champions like Renata Poppy. So core might be looking for some sort of peeling pick.
Yeah, I mean, things you're talking about, you can play anything, even something like a Karma potentially if they're just trying to get control of that lane. But the J span with the Silas ban over on the side of Team Liquid. Now, LYON have to lock in first. So they'll have to show one of their solo laners. They've been holding those close to the chest for now, but one of them will have to give up. Probably mid lane, as you do see that.
It's mid for sure, yeah, because they already see the Azir, so you can get double counter pick on solo lanes. Oh, Xerath, this is like a throwback. People used to do Xerath and Vel'Koz into Azir a while ago, but we haven't really seen it in pro play at all. Have you been seeing it much in scrims or anything like that?
I mean, when LS was coaching us in Korea, he was recommending the Xerath pick just because it outranges Azir in a vacuum, and he's the highest range champ in the game. So basically how it's going to work is Xerath will be poking, and then the other guys just need to sit around, watch, and be ready to counter-engage. And now it just kind of flipped the whole draft because previously it was the flip. Blue side, TL, was outranging, but now LYON has the range advantage.
It's only that one pick?
It's also kind of interesting because it's like, when you see Nocturne, you see the Rakan, you think about heavy dive, but Xerath is one of those champs that can actually assist the dive really well with his ultimate too. So it does kind of make the way that they play that a little bit different.
Turn the lights off and then, easier target selection there for Saint. He's able to land those. It's going to be against an Alistar, so we do have a hard engaged support for CoreJJ to pair with Umti on the Skarner, and we're still even tripling down with another frontliner. There's Renekton.
We just saw Bwipo actually play this against Sniper's Gnar, and it went very well for Bwipo.
Yes.
It was going really good with the E start. It is going to be Aatrox as the answer. Which draft would you prefer to play? Like if you have to sit down and play for one of these supports, which team do you think won the draft?
I would say TL's draft is more straightforward, in a big 5v5. Like if they really engage on anyone, they just have so much juice and front to back and CC and everything. But LYON has the advantage of, they can get a little more creative playing 3 lanes for picks with their Nocturne comp. Xerath can, for example, be planted mid and assist with ult while they look for plays on side. So I think LYON's the more creative comp, while TL will just win like standard fights.
Yeah, I got to agree with that because I feel like if you do just a pure front to back, I'm favoring Team Liquid. They have bigger health bars. They have better, follow-up engage after the initial ones. But LYON, they have more options, I think you could argue.
This is the first Xerath we've actually seen since 2023 playoffs. APA played it also into Azir. So same matchup, not super surprising. So you talk about obviously the ability to play front to back. So if you're playing Rakan then in this game and you're playing on the other side that's maybe a little bit more complex to play, how are you thinking about playing out the game? Is it more about, attacking side lanes with the Nocturne, trying to get advantages there? Is it more about, being creative in how you actually approach fights? Because obviously you don't want to just go straight front to back.
Yeah, I would either look on side or make sure I'm ready to peel, because Xerath will be poking, and the enemies have to engage on anyone. Even yourself, you don't want to be an easy engage target to give them a fight. So you need to keep some range and make sure you can disengage when they go in.
So talk to me about the 2v2 bot a little bit. You know, obviously kind of expecting Varus is going to have the advantage, but how would you be kind of expecting this 2v2 to go?
Yeah, I mean, Varus, Alistar are much stronger at 3 spells, and in general, they just have a stronger lane, but actually Zeri, Rakan can get prio if they want, because Alistar's just not the strongest.
Has no level 1.
Yeah, I mean, you can Q flash, and they can go all in, but it's not always a game you want to play.
You know, the headbutt poke.
Yep.
It's real. Well, we'll see what happens with that bot lane there, as we are now back and into game number 1, LYON versus Team Liquid. The matchup between these two we hyped up earlier on in the split, because the conversation around LYON had always been, can they beat the teams that finished top 4? They were not able to do that in the best of 1s, and they're looking to correct course now in the best of 3s.
Yeah, how do you feel about LYON just kind of as a squad, right? Because like Kangas said, a lot of discussion was, you know, are they one of those top 4 teams? Like, should they be able to punch up? You know, most of the pros that I talked to were saying, no, they're probably 5th, but they're like a tier above the bottom teams. But a couple of people that I talked to thought they actually were just like stronger than TL from scrims.
I would agree with that. I think LYON is a top 4 team potentially. Just when we played them, for example, it felt like they were a little bit nervous and not really playing like they do in scrims. So maybe they just need more time, but they definitely have strong players.
I'm also just noticing there, we had Emperor Hena versus General Umti. I like that nickname for Hena. That's a good one right there. He has also been one of the standout players. We had even Inspired, your teammate, on for a cast not too long ago, and he was talking about Saint and Hena kind of being the two that you have to watch out for when you do play against LYON. They've had a great start to the split. And Hena on something like a Zeri, I'm just excited to see what he's able to do on this pick, because like, we've seen this champion just take over games on its own.
Yeah, I mean, I told you, he carried my solo queue game, so I'm expecting the same here.
So Busio solo queue game, you equate that to Team Liquid versus LYON on stage, is what I'm hearing.
It's similar.
Similar, okay.
That's just the NA solo queue diff. It's just like playing in pro.
Just like pro, guys.
Exactly.
Just like pro. Just like pro. We have the early push. I mean, you highlighted Zeri, Rakan can get the early push. Hena and Lyonz do get this wave to crash.
Yeah. And good that they could crash, because Alistar likes the wave to be stuck under his tower, because he can pressure Q flash into headbutt into tower. And also, he doesn't mind losing HP freezing because he has the passive. So LYON just wants to make sure they can eventually get a crash before Alistar and Varus become unleashed at 3 spells.
And now from LYON's side, okay, as we see there, CoreJJ just go for the little bit of poke. Again, I like the Alistar headbutt poke when you're just going for the damage, you're not going to all in on it. Send the message. But we do have Oddie land hovering the bottom side. He started top and is pathing towards the bottom. Going to go for that scuttle most likely, whereas Umti going on the opposite path. And now we're looking top side, because Impact has actually gotten the wave shoved in here. Azael, when we talked about this top lane matchup, we were surprised to see how rough Impact had looked earlier in the split, as bot's still taking some rough trades. But early on here, it's looking like LYON's bot side getting the push, Team Liquid's top side getting the push. Nice little side step from APA.
I mean, Saint so far doing fine. I mean, he does have push in mid, but it's not like it's been any sort of advantage. He's actually going to be down on CS as the wave equalizes. Did the W start with comment? That is like really standard in these kind of matchups, because W is pretty much unmissable and does hit confirm your comment. But it's just like Xerath is always one of the interesting champions, because it can look so strong or completely useless, similar to Vel'Koz. Everything is skill shots, right? So if you hit everything, you look like a beast. If you miss everything, it is go next fast.
Well, speaking of hitting everything here, Impact actually getting a big chunk in the top lane as Umti comes by. Not going to have enough damage to get the kill, but that is Flash.
Yep, and now Oddie has tempo on jungle, and in the bot lane, LYON is very happy with what they did. Zeri got a good base off.
And we want to highlight here, I had set it up earlier, but Impact having a rough start to his split here. We took a look at some of the stats of Azael, and he has been struggling, but he might just get a solo kill. Oh no! It's Licorice with first blood as Impact engages into the wave.
I mean, that is actually really tough. You know, after your jungler came up top, you forced the flash, then you solo die before your base is just brutal. The wave at least is very good for Impact, but Licorice is going to TP back and reset it anyway.
Yeah.
And that is tough. He gets a much better buy now too.
Yeah.
That is one of the more instant karmas I've ever seen right there, as Lyonz gets chunked out in the bottom side too.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get to talk about it too much, but Impact has played 25 splits, basically, of pro play. And, you know, this year has felt like one of the only times that I can remember where he doesn't look, you know, nearly as stable, right? At first stand, I think he was struggling a lot more. And even just regionally here, he hasn't been that kind of, that rock. Like, when people think of Impact, they always think about him as a player that is never going to lose you the game, that plays weak side really well, that is really consistent, really strong. But it feels like he has been struggling this split more. Have you been kind of seeing that as well?
From my POV, I haven't really noticed that too much, but maybe just waiting to turn it on for playoffs.
Okay, I'm not letting you get away. Did you just call it a POV?
From my point of view?
It's POV, right? Surely. Okay. Oh, Impact.
No, Steve. No, it's not.
It's
Nice try, Steve.
dropping the first name on me, too. All right. But again, it highlights that Impact's still struggling here. Licorice with that early kill, now coming back to the lane with a component completed. Impact only with a couple of scraps here, so we'll see if that leads to any other potential solo kills.
Yeah, and Line around the whole map has tempo everywhere, you know? Licorice has a good situation coming for grubs. Of course, Renekton will be 6 and strong, but Varus is just now getting his base off, and he has to catch bot. So Line is starting the dragon.
Yeah, that shove like you had highlighted, and even Yeon now coming all the way back from base with that reset cannot stop this. Now, how quick can we get to grubs? Because they just spawned. Umti is up there.
So he's already going to be doing this. I mean, they have push and top. Renekton gets shoved, so Umti's going to start this. I don't think it's going to be contested or anything. Core knows that they're over on the dragon right now, so should just be able to grab the grubs. But instead, he's actually going to pull off and look for a potential another dive.
Top dive.
Licorice will have his ulti here. Does he
know what?
Biscuit?
Try again. Both ultimates pop. Licorice, World Ender, trying to get that healing back. Impact through the dominance, and Umti actually gets the E. Nice little spin there. Licorice goes down. Impact gets a kill of his own.
Not the most respectful weak side gaming by Licorice over there. He did pop his Mundo ults, but they still got him.
Yeah, uses last biscuit, does pop the ulti, and yeah, I mean, I agree. There's just no need to be scrapping like that. You know your team is on bot side. You know your team is already taking dragon, so their only counterplay is on top side. I mean, I can understand. I think his point of view was they're just going to be doing grubs, so he's not going to be attacking me.
Ooh, APA could be in trouble right
yeah.
now. He shuffles away, also has the flash, but now he can't help out at the grub, so Umti's only going to be able to get 2 of them. Whoa. And now Paranoia popped. Oddie jumping in, flashing to follow. Down goes Umti. Oddie picking up the kill.
That's the combo, man. You know, the Nocturne ult plus Saint ulting there from mid lane. He hit 3 of those ult charges. Definitely look pretty nice. They get the flash as well off Umti. They're going to be able to grab 1 grub. But yeah, Licorice definitely a little bit brazen on the top side. Does get punished for it. And now Yeon swapping up towards top side here with Core. Expecting the match, though.
No flashes away. Yeah, that's rough. So Team Liquid getting pushed out mid. Now top side also. Lion, I mean, they're getting on the map here. Busio, we talked about Lyonz, the support now. He's making a lot of action happen up here, and also Oddie and Saint linking up.
Oh, that's actually so annoying for Licorice. He gets his base canceled, and he has no TP. So now they're going to lose at least 1 plate on bot side to Impact and an entire wave because he got delayed multiple times. So it looks more like 2 plates plus the full wave, and that's a cannon. So that is like 200 gold for the cannon wave plus 2 plates. So that's like a swing of like 500 gold off of the loss of tempo there. And that's one of those things that people, I think, don't always think about when they're watching because it's not like a kill or whatever, but it makes such a big difference in the game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Alistar can go mid.
Yeah, I can ulti.
I'm going. Oddie. Varus Alistar can go mid. Varus Alistar can go.
Yeah,
we know.
Oh,
Good job. Nice confidence.
Solid look there, solid comms coming in from the team. But to your point, Azael, now as we come back to live.
Yeah, 500 gold.
Yeah, 500 gold advantage for Impact despite the fact that Licorice got that solo kill on him earlier.
There you go. Call that a bot diff. Yeon interrupted the Aatrox. Yep. What can you say?
Yep, I mean, your only option there is either take the loss or stay and dive top.
Yeah.
But you don't have the info on everyone, so it's not that easy.
Yeah, exactly. They have no deep vision on top side really whatsoever.
Yeah.
So definitely is a tough spot, for Licorice. How do you, as a support, kind of balance enabling your AD versus deciding when it's best to move around the map and maybe help someone who is in a difficult position in a side lane?
It just depends. You need to see what has the highest prio, what's your win condition, and just what you're going to gain and lose from each play. Because obviously, like a roam isn't always guaranteed. Like you're going for a kill or a dive. That depends on how safe their top laner plays. While you roaming can potentially lose your ADC a fixed amount. So it's just kind of a feeling thing that you just get. over time.
So kind of just like all about basically risk assessment, right?
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
exactly. What's the risk versus reward? You know, we're going to cost 200 gold to my ADC here, but maybe it pays off big, and what the odds are.
Yeah. Or maybe you just find the engage onto the enemy support. Lyonz has to flash away. Battle dances to safety and is out of there, but Umti was looking for it. CoreJJ set it up.
Yeah, I would even say Umti was looking defensively because Varus lost his flash, so Nocturne is going to look him.
I mean, but now he leaves the lane, so there's the engage. Yeon in trouble, no flash available. Feats of Warfare claim for a kill to Lion. Hena pops the ultimate. Xerath as well. They got so much damage on the CoreJJ. Umti's trying to block the shots. Now he holds it back under the turret. Oh, no. Hena goes down as APA pushes Saint away from the fight. Team Liquid finds something out of the play.
Wow. Umti with the scoop. Hena got taken out, but overall that Nocturne looked balanced there. He just one-shot the Varus. He had his Hex plate. He is juiced.
Yeah, he is really strong already. Impact is playing with fire a bit there. Licorice does have flash, does have ulti. Impact's got to be safe, but you can see that the bot lane from TL is running straight down to bot to relieve that pressure. And if Licorice overstays, he could be, again, caught in a difficult situation.
Ooh, Dominus pop. Now Impact wants the fight to happen, but again, just gets popped like a balloon. Licorice giving him the business.
I mean, Impact just way overplayed there. Like, even going back in for the initial stun was a little bit dicey. Then he dashes back in again after his ulti. Like, you're on like 300 health, maybe.
Yeah.
One auto and a Q just kills him.
You gotta get that Decimate off to heal, but he just didn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, that sort of thing is just your bot lane swapping. You're going to base anyway, so you just wanted to make any fight or take as many resources away from the Aatrox, but he just overplayed a little, didn't flash the ability. Even if he flashed, it wouldn't be worth it, honestly. Aatrox would walk it off.
Yeah, so here's the earlier play. Oddie land goes in with Lyonz. They get the initial kill. And then I feel like they kind of just got a bit hypey here. Like, yeah, you're pumping damage into this Alistar, but it's an Alistar with ultimate up. Even with all the Xerath ults hitting, he still is healthy enough to be able to kite it out, then gets stunned against the wall. The cleanse comes through, but Core just CC chains him. And Hena definitely going a bit too far.
Yeah, but I understand. I'd be getting hyped too if Xerath was ulting like that.
Exactly. I got back up in the mid lane as we come back to live, though. Licorice has to flash away. Still gets stunned up by CoreJJ, but is fine.
And this time he has his TP, so it's not a big deal. He'll be able to just base and go top. Hena's already coming down bot to cover, so moving around the map here pretty well. How are you feeling now, you know, if you are TL at this point in the game? Obviously, you know, you're down a little bit of gold, you know that, but are you still feeling pretty confident about kind of the position in the game?
Not really. I would say Nocturne with his ultimate hunter stacks and his early item is going to be quite the menace.
Yeah.
But, you know, TL can still win team fights. They have a very strong team fight comp. It's just they need to be careful in their lanes because in isolation, the Aatrox seems to be beating the Renekton and the Xerath obviously outranges the Azir. But the good part is, if Xerath does go side, Azir actually has threat on him. But right now, we see Xerath is staying mid, so that's a good choice by Lion.
So talk to me about like what the comms are like kind of in this situation then, right? So Lion's going to take the second dragon. You know, we now know it's going to be Mountain Soul. They're moving towards, you know, potential soul point on this next dragon. Is that something you expect them to try to fight for?
Well, it looks like they already made the decision here as they're diving Yeon yet again. Oh, Summoner spells blown, does not live. Lion with that, you know, just insane trigger pull. Finding these plays. They want more. They're going to go for core. No ultimate available. Umti is there. Nice little knockup from CoreJJ. They don't quite have the damage to burst him down as Oddie now taking turret. Lion stuck under there. Umti punishes the second dive. Now Impact comes in from the flank, trying to get onto Hena. Stop him from jumping over that wall. Hena has the flash, makes it, but Impact follows. Well, a couple more autos, and he gets it. Impact with the flank play. And now APA wants some of that action as well. Oddie was trying to get away the entire time. Has the flash, sniped by Yeon. Team Liquid make the play happen.
Man, I feel like Lion are making such good initial plays, but then always trying to go for more. And they're just overplaying, and now they're going to lose Sage as well.
Another Ixtal's Impact straight into the turret. Oh, bad the worst for Lion. Team Liquid feeling great about this last minute of play.
Yeah, I mean, it's like the play bot is the same thing as top. Like, you already have a successful play. You're already farming plates. You don't need to actually try to redive the Alistar.
Yeah.
You don't even get much for killing the Alistar.
Yeah, I mean, they made the great play and they just overplayed again. But again, from like the pro player's point of view, if you have the information, you can go for the play. Maybe they thought Skarner wasn't there, and that's why they did it.
That's, I mean, I'm happy to hear you highlight that because we obviously get the benefit of seeing everything. We know Umti's in that brush, but potentially Lion had made a different call. You never know. But either way, the reality of the situation is Team Liquid's come right back into this game. It felt like Lion were
it's a
actually
2,000 gold lead now.
Yeah, they were in the lead, but then this just turned everything on its head.
Yeah, I mean, the initial play, again, is great. You know, Nocturne is super fed. They get a great engage here from Lyonz. The Xerath ult is there. They are pulling off this combo super well. From here, if you just kind of back up, you just got a kill. You just took down a couple plates here. You're feeling pretty good, but they have no wards. I mean, look at the map. There's one ward over the Dragon Wall. That's it. Nothing on top side. They have no vision. I guess maybe the assumption is because Gromp is the only camp that's up, maybe that Skarner's going to be up top side. Like, maybe that's the call. But they really had no eyes on where he could be.
Yeah, definitely a poor assumption that he wasn't there. And what's not really seen, but will be a problem, is they have no flashes now. How can Xerath play versus Azir with flash shuffle when he has no flash?
Yeah.
Zeri no flash, Nocturne no flash, so the next 4 minutes or so will be difficult.
Yeah, and I mean, even just that shutdown going over to Yeon helps him so much because he had been put down quite a bit. He gets a fatty shutdown off the 3-kill Nocturne. Now he's actually up in gold on where the Zeri is. This is a graphic on basically like where they've finished 4th. It's always this meme, right, about forever 4th. And this is the playoff finish versus the regular season finish after they finish 4th, but Saint gonna get caught.
I mean, immediately, Busio, you already set it up. Saint has no flash. APA goes for the flash shuffle on cooldown and finds the play. Can't script it better than that, just like Team Liquid script that 4th place finish because they turn it on, Azael. Busio, are you even aware of that 4th place meme, or is that before your time?
It's before my time.
Before your time. It was memed. Team Liquid always finish 4th, but when it comes time for the kind of halfway point of the season, or once we get into playoffs, they turn it on, they come online. We're kind of seeing that in this game even.
Yep.
Oh, but Lion not going to take a lane down. They're actually going to go for their own play here into the mid lane. Big damage onto Yeon as Hena picks up that kill.
Nowhere is safe for this Varus.
Yeah, I mean,
Alistar is right by his side. Yep.
I think
Alistar is right by
Lion's going to get a little caught out here. Has to flash over the wall. CoreJJ was doing a nice job of keeping him locked there, but does get the safety.
Yep.
Whew. All right, so I think we've established Yeon has a large target painted in red on his back. Lion are looking directly at that for every single play because that is now 3 in a row that they have just isolated the AD carry.
So if you're TL, how do you want to play around that? Like the obvious solution seems to be, you know, try to actually have someone hovering and look for like a counterplay when they're going for it. But, you know, what do you think is the best answer for TL to actually protect Yeon better?
I mean, that looks rough. They were doing pretty well. Like, he's under his turret with Alistar right next to him. I don't know, maybe he's slightly too deep in the turret and he can just try to wave clear with spells. But other than that, only like Umti can be hovering.
Yeah, it's definitely seems like a difficult situation. People talk a lot about, obviously, gold leads, and when you're watching a game, you can see the exact deficit, right? It's very obvious. When you're playing a game, you have to look more at just like item completions and things like that. So, you know, if you are now Lion in this spot, coming up to this next dragon, they got the first 2. Do you think they still feel that they can actually contest at this next dragon and try to push towards 3 dragons? Or you think, hey, we've actually lost too much, we need to sit back now?
I think they can, and they do think like that because they're both 1 on 1.5 items, so the item lead is not too bad at all. And currently Xerath was grouping mid, not catching top, so he wants to get some control and fight this dragon.
Also, no flash on APA too, because they clocked that in the earlier play. I think Lion might actually have the opportunity to play aggressive here. Saint's actually going to catch it at top wave. It has the teleport, so does APA. We'll see if either of them have to use it, or if we're just going to wait a bit. Because right now, Team Liquid have control over that mid wave. So they can actually control the river as well.
Yeah, and Saint is coming down to fight, but he doesn't have enough time to poke. TL's just starting, which is good by them. So it's going to be a quick fight, and Xerath will not get much poke.
He's actually walking all the way up, so it's not just going to be the ultimate used. He will try and use the regular spells as well. But look at Core on the side right here. Big engage, double knock up. Lights go out. Paranoia. APA trying to keep himself alive, but Oddie still gets on the Yeon. Flash use. Licorice gets the AD carry. Impact cannot trade in kind, but they lose Saint. Oh, Team Liquid turning the play on its head. Lion thought they might be able to turn it back, but Impact Frontlines picks up the triple kill. Team Liquid earn the dragon.
That seemed like such a tough approach for Lion, walking with no vision when they're already starting. They don't have eyes on where Core is whatsoever, and you're grouped up in this situation that is kind of guaranteeing TL that front to back that you talked about them being so successful in.
Yeah, I mean, if a fight starts like that, there's no way Lion can win. TL just has way too much tankiness and damage and CC, while Lion's comp advantages lie in the poke and playing wide with Nocturne.
Yeah, especially if you have an Alistar able to Hex Flash over on top of you.
Yep.
Ooh.
Watching Core.
Coming.
Terrace.
Crossing target.
Nocturne gets Nocturne. Watching Nocturne still.
We got the ping line.
Nocturne. Watching
Blocking this guy.
Aatrox flash.
flash. E7.
Zeri 3 hitting, okay. Zeri has ult. I do more damage.
Kill them.
Nice shot. Good job. Nice shot.
I mean, Zeri was free hitting, but it's like Saint got comboed into Varus ult right off the bat, and then once you get hit by that, like there's so much CC like you're talking about. When one CC hits, all the other CCs are gonna hit. Yeah. And Xerath is dead instantly. They're gonna look for another engage on Varus though.
Still no flash on Yeon, and they just get him again. Whoo! Lion have one play, and they're just gonna keep running it, man.
Wow.
It's a good play.
It's a good play.
Yeon is a victim this game, and it keeps working.
Whenever he doesn't have the summoner spells, they're pulling the trigger. He's not even going like the Comet poke build. He has the Hail of Blade, so he's not getting a lot of value out of this. But Team Liquid actually see Licorice. A little cut off from the rest of the team to go for the shuffle, but he's sunned up and doesn't get hit by it. Seems like he's fine for right now, just playing around by the wall. Umbral Dash is over. Now the rest of Lion can group up. Remember, Yeon's not there, so Lion might actually fancy themselves the fight, but Team Liquid draw their line of scrimmage. Lion do not approach.
Yeah, not going to be able to actually force their way in to try to get more after that kill on Yeon. Yeon is back up, just going to be walking it out. And the gold lead, pretty significant now for TL. They do have that 4K gold lead, and you can see the item completions are starting to show themselves. You talked about it before that last fight, Busio, how the second items hadn't yet come through. They're both just kind of one in pieces. Now we have 2 items obviously done for Yeon. APA has his second item completed. Impact has his second item completed. So now things are going to be a lot more difficult for Lion.
Yeah, and this will likely be a Herald taken by TL with no contest, as the item spikes are too large. And again, if you don't have control, Xerath can't really poke, your comp's not going to work.
And we have the Herald for Team Liquid. They will secure it. No contest from Lion, as there's just too much setup here from Liquid, and Lion are going to have to run away now. They've also lost some of their control over the lanes. We see Hena catching mid, and then top side's going to push slightly into them.
So we see that TL is basically taking full vision control around Oddie. How do you go about, attacking this and kind of getting vision back on this top side as Lion?
I mean, for TL to start Oddie, it's a little risky because it's 21 minutes, and that is quite a strong objective. And as you see, Rakan is just sniffing himself, dropping wards. You also have 3 blue wards, so it's not really too stressful yet.
Sniffing out the jungle, of course. Yeah.
Yes.
Oddie is an objective on the map that Team Liquid still do have control over right now in the lanes as well. We saw Licorice then went bot side, pushed that one in, but Impact's catching that again. And Impact's, what a comeback, man. I mean, that early game was rough, but that triple kill, second item completed now. Licorice just finishes his second on this reset, but Impact is right back in it.
Honestly, it feels really, really hard for Lion because since they're playing this kind of like poke comp with the Varus, they have to be first the objective. But Saint can never push up lanes or he'll just die, right? So he's always kind of sitting back at his tower, accepting the wave second. He's always behind the play. And now the Impact's ahead as well. Licorice is going to be in that same spot, but they are starting up Oddie. I think at the very least, they want to try to get the TP out of Licorice, but they are spotted and they are just going to pull off.
Yeah, it's scary to actually go for that fight. All the debuffs that you get, armor and magic resist shredded, as Lion just staying close enough to find it if they see it. Umti now catches Saint. APA's nearby, and there is the Impale. Saint's going to go down. APA with the kill credit. They find a mid laner out of position, and Team Liquid capitalize.
Yeah, he walked a pretty dangerous way. I mean, you look at the vision in the jungle, they have nothing. They have 1 ward over in the tri-brush on top side, right? So it's instead of walking the kind of more safe long way, he tried to cut through the jungle, gets caught. Now he's dead. Now they're for sure going to go to Oddie.
Doesn't flash even, so now he's going to have to try and teleport back in if Lion contests this, but I think Team Liquid just get the Oddie at this point. Lion are going to take mid turret instead. Oh, turn the lights out. Now maybe they find a play onto Impact as well. Not going to fully dive between the turrets. Instead, just a tier 1.
Quite deep, but they did get the tier 1. Obviously, it's not that good, but they did what they had to do.
Yeah,
they did what they had to do.
It's always tough though. Like when you use Nocturne ult in a play like that, and you get nothing from it. The ult is a pretty long cooldown. I guess it's a lot shorter now that he has all his stacks and everything, but it's one of those things where now it's like there's no threat on the map, and he's not actually going to have it for when the next dragon spawns, so I assume they're probably just going to give that dragon as well, especially because we see that Xerath is up on top side, and Xerath definitely does not want to be joining the fight late. It's like you have to be there early, you have to have vision, you have to be poking TL as they're walking in, or it feels like there's not really much of a shot in the fight.
Yeah, and in this phase of the game, now TL can just play 2 lanes, you see? Nobody's top right now. They're just getting all this control. They're going to start the dragon. They might even rift. And, the Nocturne can't do much. Like, in a 5v5 standoff, it's either Xerath poke or nothing. You can't just straight up engage. You're going to lose.
Yeah, and we saw that even when Oddie was being taken, they couldn't kill Impact. He didn't burn Flash. He didn't have to burn much. He just slice and dices away, and LYON are now in a position where they cannot approach this dragon. Team Liquid have taken back control of the game despite LYON having that early game advantage. So Busio, I want to ask, what's your insight for how, you know, scrims have gone? Because again, we've heard this rumbling that LYON are a scarier team. You know, probably some players are ranking them higher than Team Liquid. What is it that you see that we don't see necessarily translate to stage? Because on stage, they've yet to really find those wins.
Don't worry, Twitch chat won't leak. It'll stay between you and them.
I mean, I would just say the carries, Saint and Hena, play really well in scrims, and they just made a couple mistakes this game, so it's making it a little difficult.
So just cleaning things up, playing a little more respectfully, potentially?
Yeah, as you saw, they overchased a little bit, and Saint got caught, and a lot of those individual mistakes and over-chasing is why they're in a bad spot, because they've been making great plays throughout. It's just then they're throwing it back.
Yeah, they're just always going for a little bit too much. We kind of have hit another point where maybe they can find an angle for a fight because they have their second items now completed on everyone before TL has their third. So these are kind of the opportunities when you are behind. You can see Death Cap finally completed there for Saint. So, you know, they are going to be feeling a little bit better. As TL, are you looking more to just kind of like avoid fighting at this point until you get to your third items, or are you still feeling pretty comfortable?
It depends. I mean, right now they can pressure a Baron start and get Aatrox TP, or they can just take the vision, recall and catch, and keep playing that game and wait for the third items.
Well, we'll see if they actually have that opportunity to fight with the third items, because Baron on the map, Team Liquid do have control over the area right now, so if they're able to get to their 3 items first and then just force the fight at the Baron, that's when the team that's ahead in gold can use these big game-winning objectives as that magnet to force the action to happen.
Something we haven't touched on at all is also that Alistar obviously is playing Symbiotic Souls. Are you a fan of the boots on support?
Yeah, the boots are insanely cheap. I think they're 900. You get the tempo with the fast recall. And
for now. They're changing next patch.
Yes, that is going to be sad for my role. But they're overall, I would say, overpowered, so it's a good purchase.
Are you going to miss them?
Yes.
Yeah,
it's very sad.
I'll miss them too. I feel like the solo laners are going to miss them a lot too.
I feel like everyone's going to miss them because no one's buying them anymore after the patch.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like they're going to have to redesign, I think, how they want to work. Even if you give a little bit more out of combat move speed, that's not why people are buying them. They're buying them for like these super fast tempo recalls and the fact that they're cheap, like you're saying. They have the Herald down in bot though, so they are looking like they're going to be able to grab a tier 2 here. LYON are moving over though, so we'll see if they can find an angle.
Yeah, they're trying to clear out the wave. They can defend the turret for a little bit longer, but not indefinitely. It does go down. Team Liquid get their objective. So not playing for the Baron immediately, instead on the opposite side of the map, using that Herald to get more gold in their pocket. They're at a 3.3k gold lead right now.
When Zeri hits IE, do you think that, you know, your job as Lyonz changes at all, where like, you know, then you're more just protect Zeri, nothing else matters?
Yeah, I mean, that's something you always need to evaluate. Like, who is doing more front-to-back damage, Azir or Zeri? And that depends on items. So when she gets her IE, you can maybe change the way you play a little bit, but they still have like 2 champs that don't really do that much in the front-to-back, being Nocturne and Xerath. They need like certain kinds of fights to be useful.
But this is tough for Hena, because Hena's the only one ahead in gold on the team, is constantly trying to get these waves while Team Liquid is grouped up pushing. So you're not even getting that much of it, but Paranoia popped. Team Liquid trying to group up, Lyonz on a flank, and instead they're going to go for the 2 members. Yeon yet again! Just blown up before the fight can even start. APA trying to get that damage down now. Team Liquid drawing the new battle lines. Impact going hard onto Oddie. APA keeping Licorice locked down. Flash it over the wall. Flash followed by CoreJJ, and Team Liquid are going to answer in kind. They lose their AD carry. Good death. Oh, okay. Pulverize not going to land. I think it's just fine. Impact now dominating. Team Liquid find a 2-for-1.
Wow. I mean, again, that's their one play. They're killing the Varus off cooldown. The guy couldn't do anything, but Umti was very strong on the backline. Hena got both his sums blown, so I'm interested to see, is this a Baron start?
Yeah,
I think it will be.
They're definitely going to. I mean, even though you lose the Varus, who cares? You have an Azir, so Azir more than makes up for the damage. This is going to be impossible, I feel like, for LYON to really walk in. Oddie's not even respawning for 10 more seconds, so I don't even think they're going to try to bother. Maybe just try to get some vision around the dragon and be able to potentially play for that, but even that is going to be incredibly difficult.
Drop some Fs in chat for Yeon. Drop some Ws in chat for Team Liquid, though, because they're still doing pretty good, considering that their AD carry is permanently gray screened based on this Nocturne, just hard focusing them.
I mean, the initial play is obviously great. You know, Licorice finds a good angle. They get in there with the Xerath ult, with the Nocturne ult. They kill him off instantly. But as you said, Busio, Umti's keeping out Hena. They have no more consistent damage down here. It's like Impact is completely unthreatened after the initial punch.
Yeah, I mean, Umti was holding it down there being broken.
Skarner still OP?
I mean, but he was just broken there. I don't know what to say.
In that instant.
In that instance, he was looking broken.
Okay.
And what we didn't see in the replay is Rakan dropped a bunch of wards behind them. So this is LYON's comp. They might have a little play, you know, a little TP flank from Aatrox, turn off the lights with Nocturne, and then maybe they can kill Varus plus Azir at the same time because they'll have a much better pinch angle.
Yeah. But at this point, with the Zonies completed on APA, he had the arm guard for that last fight and then gets the Zonies before they pick up the Baron. Like, it's going to be way harder to kill the Azir than it is to kill the Varus.
Yeah, I mean, I was saying Skarner's broken, Azir's broken. This guy's a tank and a carry and mobile and engage. He is very hard to kill.
The full package.
Yes.
Full 9 yards.
How do you feel about, you know, like when you're playing on stage, something that I think fans don't always see at home is that the communications can kind of be different playing on LAN than online when you're playing against a Nocturne, right? Because you can kind of like look at each other's screens and stuff. Do you ever do that against the Nocturne?
Occasionally. Masu always looks at my screen.
Yeah.
Yeah? Yeah. I'm not really in the habit of it, to be honest.
It's always interesting, too, because like we have Yeon here who has Edge of Night, which blocks the Nocturne, you know, vision denial, right? So when you have that, do you find that like if your AD's playing with this, that the comms kind of change and they can dictate maybe more where people are coming from?
Yeah, for sure. And APA and Core can look over.
Cool.
Okay, well, now we're going on to Impact here. Team Liquid has backup on the top half of the map, and Impact just easily jumps over to them. You cannot lock down the Renekton.
Didn't look as good as going for the Varus, I'll say that much.
Yeah. This is Operation Keep Yeon as far away as possible. So that way he is not the target right now.
I mean, honestly, if I was Yeon in this game, I feel like Zhonya's low-key would not have been bad.
You know you can focus. Impact, though, I mean, he doesn't have the paranoia to worry about, but has to pop the Dominus.
Xerath ulti.
Xerath ult, big damage. Oh, yeah, hits the blast going for Impact.
Umti.
And now Umti underneath the turret onto Saint, almost just solo kills him with the Baron wave. That cannon is smacking Saint around. All right.
They're in a really tough spot. IE is now finally completed as well. You can see that Hena's going to be working towards probably just like LDR or something next, but the base has already been cracked, and this is going to be very difficult to defend.
Yep, LYON has to choose when they do their last fight because it's not looking good.
Licorice is on the flank, has the World Ender available.
Ult, though, so they have no threat. They have to basically wait for that.
Yeah.
And it feels like the jaws are closing in.
Maybe they're waiting for level 16 on Hena if they can try and get it off of these waves. I'm not sure how close he is, but they lose one Nexus turret here. And Hena does not hit it off of that minion, so
He's
LYON not going to get
16.
many more opportunities.
Next wave, he'll get 16, but I mean,
okay,
Oddie's going to have his ult back here in a second.
Chain of Corruption misses onto Lyonz, so it's just going to be a cracked base. 2 inhibitors down, meaning Super's pushing in 2 separate waves.
Yeah, and I would say the one play LYON has is when Rakan has flash, he can try to flash on the Azir because he has no merc, so you can actually chain him for quite a decent amount of time and maybe one-shot him before he gets Zhonya's off.
Yeah, because it feels like at this point, it's like, cool, you killed Yeon, but it doesn't actually do anything.
Yep. I mean, Yeon's like baiting every single fight.
Yeah.
Like, I'm joking that he's dying off cooldown, which he is, but most
it
of the
doesn't
time
matter
it's good
at all.
situations, you know?
It's helping the team. It's unironically making the job easier for the rest of the team.
He's unleashing everyone else.
No, seriously. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, he's not their consistent damage, right? You know, you can't ignore this death cap 4-item Azir to kill Yeon.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Azir is tougher to kill, but like you say, that's their only real shot of winning a fight.
We'll see if LYON have any more tricks up their sleeve or if Team Liquid can put the final touches in this fight because we've reset, come back to the map with full items. It's quite a while for the big neutral objectives to come up. About 1:45 for that Dragon Soul, 1:50 for Baron. So Team Liquid could look to just find a pick. If anybody's out of position, they kill them. But LYON are turtling up. They say, nope, we know the position that we are in. We just have to survive, weather the storm, catch these waves.
Q, like, did 1% of Skarner's health.
Okay, he's stacking them up a little bit. He hit 3 abilities that time. I can actually see a chunk.
Yeah, it's tough.
My eyes are on Azir. We got to kill him.
Speaking of, he is actually frontline, but he gets the Zhonya's off. Stasis used, lights go out. APA still able to back away. And the Paranoia second execution not going to come through, so Audieland does not want to go for the dive. APA with that ultimate available is hard to get on top of. LYON are going to have to catch the wave under their 1 remaining Nexus turret. Team Liquid putting the final touches on this game as they will take the last bot lane turret. And big engage from Umti. Hits the Impale onto the front line. Licorice is going to go down. Yeon gets revenge! A kill for the AD carry that's been focused all game to close things out. APA on a killing spree. The carries fall for LYON. It's Oddie and it's Saint left alive to watch their turret fall. Team Liquid will take the game. LYON will falter.
GG guys.
Yep.
Padding the stats a little bit here. Team Liquid, solid work right there. Incredible comeback after LYON had control over the early game, but it feels like the 4th seed Team Liquid. Busio, they're inevitable. Do you believe in the meme?
Now that I've heard about the meme, I believe in it. And I mean, it makes sense. It's just like TL usually has veterans, so like maybe early in the season, they're not that tryharding, and then as playoffs come, they lock in.
Okay, could be, but don't miss any LTA action when you get your favorite foods delivered on Uber Eats for less gold. Scan the QR code on the screen, click the link in chat or the Uber Eats button on lolesports.com to access the Champions Shop featuring exclusive deals and 50% off on Uber Eats. That's it for us. Thank you for joining us on Cast Busio. Now let's